The National Electrical Code, or NEC, mandates that in dwelling units, every habitable room should have at least one receptacle outlet placed every 12 feet along each wall space that is 2 feet or more in length. This regulation aims to ensure convenient access to electrical power throughout the living space. However, the code does not explicitly define what constitutes usable wall space, leading to differing interpretations and occasional disputes. Some argue that any wall space exceeding 2 feet in length should have a receptacle outlet, irrespective of its usability. This interpretation emphasizes a strict adherence to the linear measurement, ensuring that no section of wall longer than 12 feet lacks an outlet. Others contend that only wall space actually usable for furniture or appliances should necessitate a receptacle outlet. This perspective introduces a functional aspect, suggesting that outlets are primarily needed where they are likely to be used. This difference in interpretation arises from the ambiguity in the NEC definition of usable wall space. Without a clear-cut definition, local code enforcement officials bear the responsibility of determining what qualifies as usable in specific situations. Their decisions can vary based on factors such as the room's layout, intended use, and local building practices. Given the lack of a definitive answer in the NEC, it's generally advisable to adopt a cautious approach. Installing receptacle outlets on all wall spaces 2 feet or longer, even if they aren't presently utilized, helps guarantee an adequate number of electrical outlets for future occupants. This proactive measure can prevent the need for costly and disruptive electrical work later on. Consider, for example, a living room with a built-in bookcase covering a portion of the wall. One interpretation might exclude the wall behind the bookcase from requiring an outlet, assuming it's not usable. The stricter interpretation, however, would mandate an outlet behind the bookcase regardless of its current accessibility. Similarly, a kitchen with a section of wall occupied by fixed cabinetry might be subject to differing opinions. Some might argue that the wall behind the cabinetry doesn't require an outlet, while others would insist on it to accommodate potential future changes in kitchen layout. When faced with such ambiguity, consulting with local code enforcement officials is essential. They can provide guidance specific to the jurisdiction and offer insights into how they interpret the usable wall space requirement. Engaging with these officials proactively can help ensure compliance and avoid potential issues during inspection. To further illustrate the application of this rule, let's examine several scenarios. Firstly, imagine a bedroom with a wall measuring 15 feet in length. According to the NEC, this wall must have at least one receptacle outlet. However, if the wall is divided by a doorway, the requirement applies to each section of the wall that is 2 feet or longer. Secondly, consider a dining room with a wall featuring a large window. The space above and below the window, if 2 feet or longer, must also have a receptacle outlet. This ensures that even areas interrupted by architectural features are adequately served by electrical outlets. Thirdly, in a home office, the placement of desks and computer equipment often dictates the need for multiple outlets. The NEC 12-foot spacing rule ensures that these outlets are conveniently located, minimizing the use of extension cords and power strips. While the NEC provides a general framework for receptacle placement, local amendments and interpretations can influence its application. It is crucial to stay informed about these local variations to ensure compliance with all applicable codes. Moreover, adhering to best practices in electrical installation is paramount. This includes using appropriately sized wiring, grounding all receptacles, and following all safety guidelines. Consulting with a qualified electrician can provide valuable assistance in navigating these complexities and ensuring a safe and compliant installation. In addition to the 12-foot spacing rule, the NEC also specifies requirements for receptacle placement near countertops and other work surfaces. These requirements are designed to provide convenient access to power for appliances and tools used in these areas. For instance, in kitchens, receptacle outlets must be installed along countertops that are 12 inches or wider, with no point along the countertop being more than 24 inches from a receptacle. This ensures that appliances such as blenders, toasters, and coffee makers can be easily plugged in without the need for extension cords. Similarly, in bathrooms, at least one receptacle outlet must be installed within 36 inches of the outside edge of each lavatory. This outlet is typically ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, protected to prevent electrical shock in wet environments. The GFCI protection is crucial in bathrooms and other areas where water is present, as it can quickly detect and interrupt electrical current leakage, preventing potentially fatal shocks. When planning receptacle placement, it's also important to consider the anticipated use of the space. For example, in a home theater, multiple outlets may be needed to accommodate audio and video equipment. In a workshop, outlets should be strategically located to power tools and machinery. By anticipating future needs, it's possible to avoid the inconvenience of adding outlets later on. Furthermore, it's essential to ensure that all receptacle outlets are properly grounded. Grounding provides a safe path for electrical current to flow in the event of a fault, reducing the risk of electrical shock. Using a receptacle tester can verify that outlets are properly grounded. If any outlets are found to be ungrounded, they should be corrected by a qualified electrician. In addition to the NEC, other standards and guidelines may apply to receptacle placement. For example, the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, sets requirements for the accessibility of electrical outlets in public spaces. These requirements ensure that individuals with disabilities can easily access and use electrical outlets. Similarly, energy codes may specify requirements for the energy efficiency of electrical systems, including receptacle outlets. These codes may require the use of energy-efficient receptacles or the installation of occupancy sensors to turn off outlets when they are not in use. Staying informed about these additional standards and guidelines is essential for ensuring compliance and promoting safety and energy efficiency. In summary, understanding the NEC requirements for receptacle placement in dwelling units is crucial for ensuring a safe and convenient living environment. While the code provides a general framework, local interpretations and variations can influence its application. Consulting with local code enforcement officials and qualified electricians can help navigate these complexities and ensure compliance with all applicable codes. By adopting a cautious approach and adhering to best practices in electrical installation, it's possible to create an electrical system that meets the needs of current and future occupants. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous if not performed correctly. Always hire a qualified electrician for any electrical work that you are not comfortable performing yourself. A professional electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to ensure that the work is done safely and in compliance with all applicable codes. Moreover, regular inspections of electrical systems are essential for identifying potential hazards and ensuring continued safety. These inspections should be performed by a qualified electrician and can help prevent electrical fires and other accidents. By taking these precautions, it's possible to create a safe and reliable electrical system that serves the needs of your home for years to come. It is also important to consider the type of receptacle being installed. Firstly, standard 15-amp receptacles are suitable for most general-purpose applications, such as lighting and small appliances. Secondly, 20-amp receptacles are required for certain appliances that draw more power, such as refrigerators and microwave ovens. Thirdly, ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, receptacles are required in areas where water is present, such as bathrooms and kitchens. Fourthly, arc fault circuit interrupter, or SI, receptacles are required in bedrooms and other areas where there is a risk of arc faults, which can cause fires. Choosing the right type of receptacle for each application is crucial for safety and performance. In addition to the type of receptacle, it's also important to consider the quality of the receptacle. High-quality receptacles are more durable and reliable than low-quality receptacles and are less likely to fail over time. Investing in high-quality receptacles can save money in the long run by reducing the need for replacements and repairs. When installing receptacles, it's important to follow all manufacturers' instructions and safety guidelines. This includes using the correct wiring gauge, tightening all connections securely, and ensuring that the receptacle is properly grounded. If you are not comfortable performing the installation yourself, hire a qualified electrician to do the work. Furthermore, it's essential to protect receptacles from damage. Avoid overloading receptacles with too many appliances or extension cords. This can overheat the wiring and cause a fire. Also, protect receptacles from moisture and physical damage. If a receptacle is damaged, it should be replaced immediately. Finally, it's important to educate yourself about electrical safety. Learn about the hazards of electricity and how to prevent electrical accidents. Teach children about electrical safety and supervise them when they are around electrical outlets and appliances. By taking these precautions, it's possible to create a safe and electrically sound home. Remember that electricity is a powerful force that should be treated with respect. By following all safety guidelines and best practices, you can protect yourself and your family from electrical hazards. Moreover, consider the aesthetic aspects of receptacle placement. While functionality is paramount, the appearance of receptacles can also impact the overall look and feel of our room. Choosing receptacles that complement the decor and carefully considering their placement can enhance the visual appeal of the space. For example, in a modern kitchen, sleek, minimalist receptacles can blend seamlessly with the countertops and backsplash. In a traditional living room, antique-style receptacles can add a touch of elegance and charm. By paying attention to these details, it's possible to create an electrical system that is both functional and aesthetically pleasing. Also, think about the future needs of the space. As technology evolves and lifestyles change, the demand for electrical power may increase. Planning for future needs can prevent the inconvenience of adding outlets later on. For example, consider installing extra outlets in home offices to accommodate computers, printers, and other electronic devices. In living rooms, consider installing outlets near seating areas to power lamps, chargers, and other accessories. By anticipating future needs, it's possible to create an electrical system that is adaptable and future-proof. In addition to receptacle outlets, consider the placement of other electrical devices such as switches and lighting fixtures. These devices should be located in convenient and accessible locations, and they should be compatible with the overall design of the space. For example, light switches should be placed near doorways and walkways to provide easy access to lighting. Lighting fixtures should be positioned to provide adequate illumination for the task at hand. By carefully considering the placement of all electrical devices, it's possible to create a functional and aesthetically pleasing electrical system. Remember that electrical codes and regulations are constantly evolving. Staying informed about the latest changes is essential for ensuring compliance and safety. Consult with local code enforcement officials and qualified electricians to stay up to date on the latest requirements. By taking these steps, it's possible to create an electrical system that is safe, compliant, and adaptable to changing needs. And remember, safety is always the top priority. Never attempt electrical work that you are not comfortable performing yourself. Hire a qualified electrician for any electrical work that involves working with live wires or making connections to the electrical panel. A professional electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to ensure that the work is done safely and in compliance with all applicable codes.